I haven't done a solo drive in a very long time. In fact, I don't even remember the last time I went solo. The plan is to make this a easy sort of a drive where I'm totally chilled out, totally relaxed, and hopefully explore some food along the way. Madhya adella drinks is all no?
Juice item, natural juice.
So my dish is here. This is a Navane dosa, basically, which is made of foxtail millet. Of course, there are also some who will say, why have a plan B at all? It means that you have a safety net, so you don't really commit yourself to plan A completely. Hi folks, hope you're doing well. I'm on a trip to Mangaluru, a solo trip actually. So if you look around, there's nobody in the car except me. I haven't done a solo drive in a very long time. In fact, I don't even remember the last time I went solo. But I had some work in Mangalore, and personal work. And so I just decided to drive out to Mangalore. I'm just going to be there for a couple of nights. So I've just crossed the Nelamangala toll. I'm on the route to Hassan. And I must say, this is the first time that I'm driving on the highway after FASTag has been made mandatory. And there are two tolls that I pass until now. One is near Yashwantpur, which is the Parle-G toll, and then the second is the Nelamangala toll. And both these tolls are always the busiest. Of course, when you have FASTag, it makes it a little easier and you move a little faster. But now that FASTag is compulsory, mandatory for all vehicles, I must say it was the smoothest drive through both these tolls, which are otherwise quite busy. The Nelamangala toll especially, even with FASTag, has lines of cars waiting. But today was like in less than 30 seconds. So I think this FASTag mandatory is a good thing. Kudos to the government for implementing this. Of course, I've also heard murmurs of people saying, why should it be made mandatory, etc. You know, people can track where you are. They know where your vehicle's been. So my thing to that is, you know, how does it matter? When you're online, on Facebook, social media, emails, you're leaving an electronic trail as is. So if your car also leaves a trail, having passed through various tolls across the country, what's the harm? Of course, as long as you're not doing anything wrong, I don't see any problem in that. So anyways, kudos to the authorities for implementing this mandatory FASTag. I personally think it's a great thing. So I'm recording on my GoPro. I thought I would, shoot some things as we went along, have a bit of a conversation, and hopefully this will make for an interesting vlog. This almost turned out to be a non-starter of sorts because the mount that connects my GoPro to my Gorilla Pod broke as I was trying to fix it. And if you don't have that mount, you cannot connect it to the Gorilla Pod. But fortunately for me, I'm the sort of guy who believes in having a plan B and perhaps sometimes a plan C as well. Call me Enthu, but that's the way I am. So thankfully I had this GoPro Shorty, which is a tiny tripod sort of a stick, and fortunately I had that with me, so that's what I'm using to record on the GoPro. And of course I also have my second camera, which is the Sony ZV-1, so I have that also. But I think the GoPro gives a wider field of view, and especially when you're shooting yourself, and sometimes places are a bit tight, so you want that wider field of view, and that's where the GoPro helps. So yeah, so this time my philosophy of having a plan B has really helped, and as a result of this I'm able to film this, and hopefully you will find an interesting vlog at the end of it all. Of course, there are also some who will say, why have a plan B at all? Because sometimes a plan B, and there's a point there, it means that you have a safety net, so you don't really commit yourself to plan A completely. Perhaps that could be the case, but for me, a plan B just means that if plan A doesn't work, I have something else to make it work, and that is plan B. I'm about 80 kilometers from Bengaluru, and the plan is to, you know, make this a easy sort of a drive where I'm totally chilled out, totally relaxed, and hopefully explore some food along the way. So this morning I put out a post on Instagram requesting for recommendations on places that I should stop for lunch on the route. I've got a few recommendations. I also got some recommendations for breakfast, but I don't want to do breakfast because, you know, I'm trying to stick to my intermittent fasting schedule. I don't really breakfast unless I have to if I'm reviewing some place. But I might drop for a cup of coffee along the way. There's one or two places that have been recommended for breakfast reviews, so if I grab a cup of coffee, that may give me a sense to assess the place and also decide if I want to come back and do a proper review. But then for lunch I'm going to stop somewhere, and I think I will check out some place near Hassan. So I've got a few recommendations. There's this place called Pillai Mess that I'm told that does some good mutton dishes in Hassan. So perhaps that's something that we will check out. There are a few other options as well. So today I'm also thinking of a different route to Mangalore. So usually I take Hassan, Sakleshpur, Shiradi, Bantwal cross and then get into Mangalore. But the last time around when we went to Mangalore via Shiradi, the roads were very bad, especially between Sakleshpur and Shiradi. So I've received some recommendations that I should do the route that goes via Charmadi Ghat. So I think the route is get to Hassan, and then from Hassan you get to Belur, you cross Mudigere, and then you get to Charmadi, and then from there you get into Bantwal Crossroad and get into Mangalore. So I'm told that the road here is better. It's also a lot more scenic. Perhaps the road is not as broad as the Sakleshpur Shiradi belt, but you know, we'll find out what the road is about, and even you'll find out once I am done with this vlog. So stick around. Hopefully you'll also enjoy some good food along the way. Trying to call a lunch place to find out if they're open. Hello, Pillai Messa? ಎಷ್ಟು ಟೈಮ್ ಓಪನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ದು ಜಾಗ?
ಸರ್ 1 ರಿಂದ 3.
ಓ 1 ರಿಂದ 3. 12 o'clock ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಸಿಕ್ಕಲ್ಲ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. 12 ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. 12 12 ಮುಕ್ಕಾಲು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ?
ಮಟನ್ ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ಇದೆ, ಬಿರಿಯಾನಿ ರೈಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಚಿಕನ್ ಫ್ರೈ ಇರುತ್ತೆ,
ಓಕೆ,
ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಮಟನ್ ಕುರ್ಮಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ.
So I just called this place called Pillai Mess, a place in Hassan. I heard about it the last time around when I was driving back from Mangalore, but I could only do one meal, so I stopped at Mamta Hotel. If you haven't caught that episode yet, I'm going to place a link here and also in the description below. My map says that I'm going to be there by 11:18. So I don't know what to do. Perhaps stop for coffee along the way and maybe kill some time. 70 kilometers so far, and I have 120 kilometers to Pillai Mess in Hassan, assuming I stop there. So slight change in plans. I've stopped at this place called Halli Mane, which is right here, and it's called Kichana Halli Mane. That's because that's the movie star Sudhi. This larger than life poster looms out there. I figured that if I stop here, I'll probably make it to Pillai Mess around 12:30. So I'll stop here, grab a cup of coffee and perhaps something else. Let's see. There's a bunch of stuff here. I think that's some millet dosa there, right there. Sajjike dosa, that looks like a rava dosa. There's a halwa, some sort of a combo pack. Let's take a look at what breakfast here at Halli Mane is all about.
millet
ಏನು ತುಪ್ಪಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ತುಪ್ಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ನವಣೆ ದೋಸೆ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತು ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಡ್ರಿಂಕ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದೇನು?
ಜ್ಯೂಸ್ ಐಟಮ್, ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಜ್ಯೂಸ್.
ಲೈಟಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ?
ರಾಗಿ ಬೈಲು, ತಂಪು ತುಳಸಿ.
ತುಳಸಿ ತಂಪು ಏನು ಹೇಗಿದೆ ಅದು? ಹಾಂ, ನನಗೆ ಒಂದು ತುಳಸಿ ತಂಪು ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ನವಣೆಯ ದೋಸೆನ ಒಂದು ಐಟಮ್ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಏನೇನು ಟೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ದೋಸೆನ ಅದೇ ಬೆಸ್ಟಾ? ಹಾಂ, ನವಣೆ ದೋಸೆ. ಅದರೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ?
ಚಟ್ನಿ ಸಾಗು.
ಚಟ್ನಿ ಸಾಗು ಏನು ಕೆಂಪು ಚಟ್ನಿ?
ಅಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ನಾರ್ಮಲ್ ಚಟ್ನಿ.
ನಾರ್ಮಲ್
ಕೋಕೋನಟ್ ಚಟ್ನಿ.
ಕೋಕೋನಟ್ ಚಟ್ನಿ ಕೊಡಿ ನನಗೆ. I've ordered for some navane dosa, which is a millet of sorts, and some tulsi tampu, which is a basil cooler. So the place looks quite interesting. It's like a house or a courtyard in the center. So you got tables all around.
Yesterday you have posted that kidney.
You saw that? Yeah. You're on my GoPro. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, no issue.
You're
Basically
from
from Tumkur, but staying in Jetinagar.
Ah, okay. Tumkur, I want to go to Kyatisandra one day. Pavitra.
Yeah, Pavitra Paradise.
Tatte Idli. Nice to meet you, Chet.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah, navane dosa.
Yes, sir.
This is sagu, I know.
Yes, sir. Sagu.
So my dish is here. This is a navane dosa, basically which is made of foxtail millet. Well, let's see what the navane dosa is all about. We'll taste the dosa first. So I'm told it's fried in some tuppa. I think there's some chili powder in there because I can definitely feel the spice.
Tampu tulsi.
Tampu tulsi. Tulsi tampu basically translates into cooling basil. It's got a tinge of lemon as well somewhere there. So it's like a very light lime juice sweetened with some of that sabja or the basil sweets. Let's go back to that navane dosa. There's a bit of crunch that the dosa has. I think I can also detect a hint of sweetness. The dosa is quite dry though. It's not a dosa that's moist, dripping with ghee. So I was just finding out from him about what goes into the making of the navane. So there's a muddina bele in that, some akki, some rice, and then of course the foxtail millet or the navane. There's also some sugar that goes into it because you also have a tinge of sweetness. Along with that kara pudi, which is a red chili powder. Let's taste it now with some of that chutney. The chutney is quite a Telugu chutney. You have some coconut in there, red chili powder as well. But I think because the dosa is slightly dry, that chutney provides a bit of moistness. As you're tasting that dosa. As you can see, this dosa is quite thick well. So it's got a soft underlayer and it's got these crunchy ridges. So this is a dosa that's both soft and crunchy at the same time. The first time that I'm tasting a navane dosa, what's nice is that tinge of heat from that kara puri and also that slight sweetness. Let's taste some of that sagu now. There are some lentils in that sagu, some horse gram there. That certainly is a tasty sagu. There's some horse gram, there's some spinach, some curry leaves, and of course the potatoes. That's quite a unusual but a tasty sagu. It's also a sagu that feels quite nourishing. Also some green chilies in there. So out here they also do your idli, vade and things like that and your typical dosas. But I wanted to try something different. And this navane dosa is quite growing on me. You know, as I've tasted that savory sagu, now the slight sweetness that is there in that dosa is a little more pronounced. That khara that is there in that dosa is now a little more pronounced. What I appreciate is the crunch, the crunchy ridges on this dosa. It's a sort of dosa that goes crunch, crunch, crunch from the first bite to the last. There's a bit of softness in that dosa, but it's a crunchy texture. I don't know if you can hear that over the ambient noise. It's a crunchy texture that rules. You know, sometimes when you taste something new for the first time, you don't know what to make of it. So when this dosa came initially, it didn't seem too moist. Seemed a little dry, seemed a little heavy. But as I'm tasting this navane dosa, that's a combination of the foxtail millet, some lentils within a bele and also some rice. I'm quite beginning to enjoy it. And I think what is interesting here is that not only does it have that nutrition quotient because of the millet, but it also has that slight spicy tinge that comes from the kara pudi, the chili powder, and To round that off, to complement it, a slight touch of sweetness from the sugar. Not too much, just enough. And keeping it nutritious company is that sagu, enriched with some spinach, horse gram, chilies, and of course the potato. Where would a sagu be without a potato? The chutney I didn't care for too much. It's got the kai, it's got the coconut, but it's more of the chili that dominates, and I can feel that definitely on my throat. The sort of spicy attack that calls for a sip of that Tulsi Tampu. I like that soft, slightly fleshy, slightly slimy texture of the sabza or the Tulsi seeds. The Tulsi Tampu is certainly refreshing, but I'll probably ask for it slightly less sweeter the next time.
Hello sir, I'm seeing your YouTube channel. Myself Suresh.
Suresh,
From Bangalore.
from Bangalore. Where are you going?
Awesome.
Awesome. To me, after a breakfast, that coffee is the bit that seals your impression of the place. That certainly is a coffee that's not too sweet. It's hot, not too hot. This is a coffee that's a fitting end to that Navane dosa. So today will be one of those days where my intermittent fasting, unfortunately, has only been for about 12 hours. All because I wanted to kill some time before I got to my lunch destination. Bill Gudi. You know what's also nice about all these good coffee places is that you'll never have that cream forming on that coffee. You'll never have that bave as they call it in Kannada, or perhaps kene too. It'll never form on the coffee. From your first sip to the last, there's no cream that's formed on it. Perhaps it has something to do with the fat in that milk, or perhaps the temperature. I'm not quite sure, but if any of you out there know why in a good coffee establishment you'll never have cream forming on top, thank you. Do let me know in your comments below. So the Navane dosa is all of 95 rupees. The coffee is 28 rupees 57 paise, and the Tampu Tulsi is 57 rupees 14 paise. So all in all 190 rupees for breakfast. Sweet somp. Some badi soppu to end the meal. So growing up in Bombay, that was something that we would look forward to. So you finished a meal and then you would have a tiny little saucer with some sauce that was placed on it, and the bill would usually be placed on it with a couple of toothpicks to act as some sort of a weight for the bill not to flutter away. And that time we didn't think much of it. We pick from that bade soppu, that fennel seeds, and chew on it quite happily. And that was the flavor that was in your mouth as you left the eatery. But then, of course, as one grows, one learns things, and one learns about how not so clean that fennel could be. And so one gradually weaned off that habit. I think sometimes when you know too much, is also a problem. Like they say, ignorance is bliss. I think in the case of the fennel seeds, or the sauce, or the badi soppu, ignorance to me certainly was bliss.